Good morning. It is 8:36 a.m. and we're going to do a body wake up routine. Kind of a morning routine, but you could also do this like any time of day or at night. The date is January 3rd. We are back in New York City after visiting family for the holidays. Naughty, I have not been stretching. I'm on Santa's naughty list right now. So I've started like running again and stuff, and I've been stretching a bit at home, but now we're really gonna get into like a proper, let's like do this, you know? I have this TheraBand, and I also have this ball. If you have like a tennis ball, grab that. If you have TheraBand, that's cool. If not, you could also just use like, I don't know, like a shirt you don't care too much about, or like a dish towel. Classic New York City, it's very noisy outside, so sorry about the trucks and subways and stuff. So first, let's just lay down on the ground. We're laying on the ground. We have our feet planted on the floor. Our knees are pointed up towards the ceiling. And I'm just ever so slightly rocking my pelvis back and forth, just kind of like massaging it into the ground. My spine is neutral. Do whatever you want with your arms, but really try to just drop into the floor. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the gravity like sinking your body into the ground. And just breathe here a little bit. And then let's pull the knees into the chest and give ourselves a nice hug. Don't worry so much here about like flattening your tailbone towards the ground. Just hug. Tell your body that you love it. All right, now try to flatten your tailbone on the ground a little bit. And your knees are gonna like pop up a little bit. Now, grabbing your elbows and rolling your shoulders down and back. Try to bring your knees toward your chest a little bit while keeping your tailbone flat against the ground. Okay, but we're not doing anything crazy yet, so now we can put our feet back on the ground. Okay, now we're gonna do a little bit of a spinal twist. So I'm putting my heel to my knee, and I'm gonna twist my knee sideways, and I'm gonna look in the opposite direction. It's important here that you feel two shoulders flat on the ground, more so than your knee being on the ground. So if your shoulders are popping off the ground and your knee is not, you need to make sure that your two shoulders are flat on the ground and your knee is what is hovering off a little bit. But if your knee and your shoulders are both on the ground, that's awesome, good for you. Okay, coming back to center. Allow your spine to realign here. And now we're gonna go to the other side. So heel to knee, twist the knees over, two shoulders flat on the ground, and the knee twists. And I'm breathing here. Taking a few days off of stretching is like not ideal, because especially as you get older, your body really needs to be stretched every day. If you're trying to maintain stretching, if you're trying to get more flexible. So yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna go to a butterfly. So soles of the feet together, and just let the knees drop to either side. Let gravity pull your knees down towards the ground. And we'll just stay here for a little bit. You can like gently press your hands to make your knees go a little bit further, but we're not forcing anything because this is a body wake up routine. We're not warm or anything. All right, let's roll up. Okay, what do I want to do next? It's kind of weird being on camera because I feel like I just like don't do things as naturally. Okay, so we're gonna roll our shoulders up and to the back, and now let's just circle our head. And I'm not like forcing my shoulders down or anything. I'm kind of just letting them do whatever they want. We're still just getting warmed up. And we're going a second time, circling the head. Come up through the center, and now we're gonna reverse it, circling the other way. And again. As you drop your head to the back, really try to let the chest open up towards the ceiling. And head back up to center. There's the siren passing me. Okay, so one hand up in the air, and we're gonna flip the wrist so you're pointing the fingers towards you and the wrist toward the front of the room. So your hand is inverted. Try to keep your fingers flat on the floor here. You should feel like a nice stretch through here. And let's add in the other side. Flipping the wrists. You can do both at the same time, that's fine. Extend the legs out in front of you. I'm gonna go on an angle so you can see me a little better. And reach towards the toes. You don't need to go into like a really super deep stretch here yet, but really let the back of the neck elongate and the head just completely drop. So you're not holding any tension in the neck here. The spine can be curved. We're not like aiming to bring the crown of our head like towards our toes. Just allow the spine and the head to just curve and do whatever they want. You can even like bring yourself back to this position a little bit. And you should feel like a slightly uncomfortable, but kind of weirdly nice stretch all along the back, like upper back, neck, primarily. And bend forward a little bit more. And back. Really make sure that the spine is completely relaxed here, completely dropping the head. Rolling up through the spine to sit up nice and tall. Okay, let's go into a butterfly. So I'm grabbing my feet, I'm like clasping my fingers around my toes. I'm gonna sit up nice and tall, and then however low your legs go, just let them go. And let's bend forward. So I'm gonna reach my hands out in front of me, and I'm gonna bend forward. And this is like a really amazing hip opener. So I'm feeling it like all on this part of my hip here. Hope you can see that. And it's really important that we just breathe in all of these positions. If you're feeling that your knees are hurting a little bit, you can extend your feet like away from your torso a little bit more. Because sometimes your knees will like twist. We're trying to avoid twisting the knees. And another thing that's gonna help that is keeping your feet flexed. It protects your knees by doing that. And even here, just like drop the head completely. See how the back of my neck just dropped? I hope you can hear me okay. And I'm rolling up through the spine now. So take like a tennis ball. This is, I forget what this is. I just got these on Amazon. I think they might be squash balls. No, these are not squash balls. I forget what they are. They might be lacrosse balls or something, but they're really good for muscle massage too, because they are super smooth. Okay, so let's do feet. So we're gonna put it underneath our foot, and we're just gonna like roll wherever feels good. So you should feel like the bottom of your foot's probably like a little bit bumpy. There's lots of like knots in feet. And it's actually really good to massage your feet because it hits pressure points that actually relieves tension, and it's gonna make you, not so tense, not so stressed, all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm just rolling. I'm doing like the inner arch. I'm doing towards the back of the heel more, like right underneath the heel where the arch meets it. I'm gonna roll up towards the ball of my foot and back towards my heel. So it's like a vertical line, I'm rolling there and back towards my heel. And then we can go side to side along the ball of the foot. So starting with the big toe and then rolling the ball along the ball of the foot towards the pinky toe. And then let's do it with just the toes. So I hope you can see that okay. But yeah, we're gonna go like rolling just with the toes. And just like anywhere. Okay, so like anywhere that feels really good, or like feels super naughty, not good, naughty, like Knotty. You can just hold the ball in that position and hold it there for like 10 seconds and just try to let that knot kind of release. And then you can move it around. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling some knots. You can also do this standing up. I'm not going to just because of the camera. But yeah, you can do this standing up as well. I'm switching feet now. And if you're standing, then you can put a little bit more pressure, I think, wherever you need to, apply pressure. So it's just like anywhere that I really want along my foot. So up and down. And now I'm kind of like massaging a very specific knot. So I'm not necessarily just like holding it in one place, but I'm just like rocking back and forth a tiny bit. And towards the back of your heel, and in towards the arch, up towards the ball of the foot, and now I'm gonna go across the ball of the foot. Woo. And you can even do that little like tiny like rocking back and forth motion along the ball of your foot. And then we're gonna go towards the toes. Not really sure how long this video is gonna be. I'd like to like really get into it though. Okay, so we can just roll out the feet now. Just shake them out. Okay, let's do calves. So where like the biggest part of your calf is, where it has that little like indent thing, you put it right under there, put the ball under there, and oh my goodness. Okay, my calves are super tight because I have been running and not rolling out as much as I should be. And I really need to roll out because I have patellar tendonitis, and it is, I feel it a lot when I don't roll out because like the muscles in my legs seize up and then they tug on my kneecap and mess up the tracking of my kneecap, and that like really aggravates my knees. So it's really important that I roll out. And that's why you should roll out too. That's one of the many, many reasons that you should roll out. So yeah, I have it like underneath the calf, and I'm gonna go up towards the knee, like right underneath where, like the knee hinges. You can flex your foot. I think that that's nice, that kind of like, I don't know, makes it easier to feel the muscles as you're rolling them. And now I'm rolling down. I'm gonna go to the inner calf as well. So really just like figure out what feels good. Whew. And let's go back to the lower calf and let's go outside to the outer portion of the calf. You can also do the front of the shins. The shins are really good too. Yeah, I think just as I'm like getting older, I'm almost 30, I'm not like, I don't dance professionally anymore. I just do it for fun. And so I'm not like taking care of my body as much as like a hardcore professional is, where they're going into the studio every morning, making sure they're doing all of their warm up, all their rolling out and everything like that. It's just like, yeah, I just don't, because now I'm just living my normal life. And what was I saying? Okay, so I'm not like doing this stuff as much as I necessarily should be, especially given the fact that I have like patellar tendonitis and stuff, and my physio had always told me that I need to do my exercises every single day for the rest of my life. Anyway, but since I'm not dancing anymore, I don't really do that. I'm kind of rambling right now. Let's switch legs. We'll go to the other side. And so now I'm feeling things more. Okay, so as the point of this is that I had been having pain like when I first got back into dancing, like last year. Well, when I first like really like went back to doing open classes at like a higher level and like pushing my body, I wasn't necessarily like taking the precautions that I should have been, like rolling out necessarily like as much as I should have been. And so my body was kind of like seizing up. And so another thing that happened was like I wasn't rolling out the front of my shins, which I'd never really done even like when I was professional. I do it just like casually, but not like really purposefully. And so my shins were seizing up, and it was actually causing me like what felt like bone pain in my metatarsal. And I thought that I had some sort of stress reaction from like coming back to ballet too soon. But it turns out that that was not the case, and I just needed to roll out my shins, which is awesome. I'm really glad that I don't have a stress reaction. Okay, so I'm doing like my outer calf. I'm actually like getting into my shin a little bit here too. And really like dig in there. And then we'll do the inner calf. You can like, you know, pronate your leg inwards to get into the shin too if you want. Okay, so now that our shins are warmed up, let's bend forward again. And now you can reach towards your toes a little bit more. And it should feel a little like easier to reach towards your toes. It shouldn't feel so like, kind of like stiff, brittle almost. Okay, another thing that's really gonna help you reach towards your toes is, this is like a level up from the butterfly, and I do this a lot, so you might have seen it, but we're gonna do heel to knee, and we're gonna let the 2 sit bones sit on the ground and let the knee drop towards the other foot. And so we're gonna sit up really nice and tall here. It's possible that you're gonna be sitting like this. If that's the case, we can go for like a figure 4 stretch where you cross one leg over and hug your knee in towards your chest, keeping your spine nice and long, and then rotating your spine towards the back. So if you're not really feeling anything there, we're gonna do this one. So 2 sit bones on the ground. Let your knee drop over. So you wanna have 2 shins stacked on top of each other. Keep the feet flexed to protect your knees. And then we're gonna bend forward with a flat back. And this is an amazing hip opener. And then when we go back to our like, you know, just like this stretch with our legs in front of us, it's gonna feel easier because our hips have opened up. And I think that that's pretty cool because you would think that it's just like your hamstrings, but it just shows that like your whole body is really connected. Reach the arms out in front of you. I hope you can hear me okay, because I feel like I'm kind of smothering the microphone right now. Really elongate the spine. You're trying to keep your back super flat, and then drop the head down. So you relax the head, so the head like can touch the ground, if it can. You might not be there yet, and that's totally fine. And we're gonna come up. Let's do the second side. So heel to knee, 2 sit bones on the ground, let the knee drop, or you're gonna hug the leg into the chest, like that. Really keep the chest open. Grow the crown of the head towards the ceiling, elongate the spine, and twist towards the back of the room, where we're doing this one. So you're gonna bend forward with a flat back. Reach the arms out in front of you, and drop the head. And then just relax here. And relax here for like a bit. So yeah, you should feel like a deep stretch like on the outside of your hip. I love this stretch. It's probably my favorite. Okay, so now extend your legs out in front of you and see if you can bend forward even a little bit more. You probably can. Or it probably just feels easier to bend, like a little more mobility there. And we'll come up. Okay, we're gonna take this TheraBand, or a shirt, or a dish rag, or a towel, or a sock, or literally anything that's just like long. Grab it in both hands, hook it around the ball of your foot, and we're gonna lay back on the ground. And you can extend this leg. I wanna be fully in the frame. Okay, extend this leg out in front of you. And now, okay, while I'm doing this stretch, I'm thinking about pulling up the kneecap, flexing the heel up towards the ceiling, and pulling up the kneecap. So it's kind of actually like I'm strengthening the muscles around my knees here. It's an active stretch. So I'm not just like, this is not like passive stretching where I'm just like letting my body do kind of what it wants to do like at the beginning. We are actively like engaging our muscles while we stretch. So flexing the foot up towards the ceiling, and then you can angle the heel in towards the center of your body a little bit more, and you should feel like a really nice stretch along the outside of the back of your leg. And we're just keeping our leg at 90 degrees right now. Don't pull it up towards you, it's not necessary. Keep it at 90 degrees, and if you want to intensify the stretch, literally just flex your foot even more. And keep angling it in towards the body. So your leg and your torso create a 90-degree angle here. Can you see that? Yeah, I think so. And then grab the TheraBand with the outside arm, and we're gonna open the leg to the side, keeping 2 hips even on the floor here. The leg stays super straight and then the heel flexed. And I'm feeling 2 hips evenly on the floor. I'm not gonna let them rock over to the side. So only go as far, this is kind of like strengthening, only go as far as you can allow your hips to open evenly and keep stretching that leg. And now I'm starting to feel a stretch on like the inner hamstring here. I'm keeping my leg basically still at 90 degrees to the side. You really have to like fight to keep this hip on the opposite side from the leg that's stretching. You really have to fight, kind of use your core, belly towards your spine, to keep this hip evenly on the ground, because it's gonna wanna pop up, but don't let it. And now we're gonna go in, bring it back up towards the center of your body. We'll stay here for like 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, flex that foot even more. 3, 2, 1. Let the TheraBand go and elongate the leg down towards the floor. And now feel the difference in your legs here. So my left leg that I just stretched feels amazing. And now I just want to do the same with my right leg. So we're going to do that. I really hope that you can still hear me. I think that you can. Sometimes I get worried about this microphone. Okay, second side. Also, like TheraBand strength does not really matter for this. So if you have like a weak TheraBand or a super heavy TheraBand, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I've hooked my TheraBand around the ball of my foot, and I'm gonna lay back onto my back, bring this leg up. You can keep this leg bent and then slowly extend it if you want. That's like, I think, a little bit less intense immediately. It just lets you ease into the stretch a little bit more. Okay, so my leg is at 90 degrees with the torso. My heel is flexing up towards the ceiling. I'm actively flexing my foot, so I'm constantly thinking about bringing my toes down towards my head and pressing the heel of my foot up towards the ceiling. My leg's at 90 degrees, and then I'm gonna angle it in towards the center of my body, just ever so slightly. So your leg's only gonna move like an inch or so. And now I'm feeling a stretch all on the outside of my leg here. Ever so slightly, like in my hamstring, but since I'm just keeping my leg at 90 degrees, it really depends how tight your hamstrings are. I'm not feeling it like extremely like, you know, along here. It's more this area. Flexing my foot. And we're just staying here. Now, thinking about the leg on the other side, you want to keep it long on the ground. So like ideally, the back of your knee is going to touch the floor. My knees like don't really do that, but I'm thinking about creating long space through this hip here, if you can see that. And you can flex or point it doesn't really matter. But yeah, the idea is just to create like length and space through your legs, actively pulling up the kneecap and flexing the heel. So you're in this like really active stretch here. So after you've gone across your body, now we're gonna open the leg towards the side and keeping 2 hips on the ground. So for some reason on this side, oh my God, This is a little harder for me. This hamstring is a lot less flexible. Like this is not an attractive angle and I should maybe move this way. Okay, so yeah, so we are extending your leg out towards the side. The heel is flexed and my knee is still super straight and the other leg is long on the floor. Really make sure here that your belly button is pulled in towards the spine to activate the abs, especially the lower core, and to keep your hips evenly on the ground. If your hips are rocking off, you need to keep your leg up here. It's fine if it's up here. Eventually, with strength and flexibility, you'll be able to open your leg more towards the side. Your leg does not need to be flat on the ground. I've trained since I was a kid, since I was a baby, basically, and I still do not have my leg flat on the ground. Like, it's fine. It's partially just like your anatomy, also partially strength and flexibility. So it can get better, but you know, don't beat yourself up about this stuff. So I've brought my leg back up to the center. Release the TheraBand, elongate the leg down, and just breathe. I love that stretch. I had to reorient to the camera, so I hope that this doesn't look too funky now. Okay, so anyways, we've done our hamstring stretch. Now let's stretch one leg out. So we have one leg folded in. The other leg is out. Feel 2 sit bones evenly on the ground. Grow the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Elongate the spine. Feel space between every vertebrae. And we're gonna reach out in front of us and bend forward. Really make sure that you keep 2 sit bones evenly on the ground. If you feel your tailbone start to pop up or one hip start to lift up, actively, you know, press down through your tailbone. So this is still an active stretch here. That's most important. We really wanna keep proper alignment so that you are stretching the proper way. And then it might seem like you're not like getting as low, but eventually you will, and you're gonna be in proper alignment instead of just doing like all these funky, improper, like incorrect technique kinds of stretches. It's not gonna help you at all. So 2 sit bones evenly on the ground. I'm reaching my head out towards the front of the room and elongating the spine, and then I'm gonna drop the neck and just breathe here for a minute. And I'm feeling a stretch all along the back of my hamstring. You can point your foot and pull your kneecap up. You know, it's always good because you're pointing your foot and keeping your kneecap up when you are in ballet classes. So the idea is like when you're doing splits and stuff, always just like keep your legs super stretched and your foot super pointed, because when you're doing things like a soda jaw and you wanna have a split in the air, that's the form that you want. You wanna, you know. Okay, so we're gonna do the other foot now. So we have one leg out, other leg's folded in. Point or flex the foot if you want, but keep it active, pulling the kneecap up. And oh my goodness, yeah, this hamstring's just like tighter for me. I think it's because sometimes I will attempt to go into the splits without like properly stretching beforehand. And as I said, I'm getting older and it's important to really like warm up my body. I'm just so used to like, I used to just walk into the studio and like the first thing I would do was just go into my splits and it would feel like amazing. And now my body just doesn't feel that way. And that's fine, that's just life. So this side, yeah, as you can see, like I'm not forcing my body to go lower because we're just waking up the body and opening it up. And this side of my body, I'm listening to it and it just does not want to go down lower. I'm gonna end up pulling something. So I'm not. But yeah, keeping the kneecap pulled up, trying to keep the back of the knee on the floor, pointing the foot to the best of your ability. 2 sit bones are evenly on the ground. And then we'll come up. Now let's try 2 legs extended. So I'm not gonna like, let me move this out of the way. I'm not gonna like really I'm not forcing my legs to go really far to either side. This is just bothering me and I don't think we really need it anymore. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and even here I feel a bit of a stretch like in my hamstrings, and that's totally fine. So if you want, once you've sat in that position long enough, your muscles will start to like open up a little bit and you can kind of scoot your hips a little bit more forward, but don't do anything crazy. And we're gonna lift one arm up and we're gonna bend to the side. Really keep 2 sit bones evenly on the ground here, very important. Keep your chest open to the front of the room. So your shoulders are square. So you want them in one line. So you don't want the top shoulder like dropping over or dropping back. You want it square And you can do a nice, like, pretty ballet arm, so it's rounded, so it's like a half a frame for the face. And really elongate that arm to feel a stretch through the side of your body. So I'm reaching the arm. Even if I'm keeping it really like a nice, pretty ballet hand, I'm still reaching with energy towards the side of the room, keeping 2 sit bones evenly on the ground. So make sure, especially like this hip is not popping up here. It's gonna want to. And then we'll come up and we're gonna go to the other side. So I'm reaching my arm up, 2 sit bones evenly on the ground. And I'm reaching my hand towards the side of the room. My shoulders are square, my chest is open towards the front of the room. You can look down at your hand, you can look up, or you can look side, I don't know. You just keep your head in a position that is not gonna like entice you to roll forward. I feel like sometimes looking down kind of like makes me wanna roll my shoulders forward. So I just like to look side, but you can also look up. It's really up to you. Okay, now let's angle our torso this way. So I've rolled my shoulders down and they're at an angle. And we'll just stay here for like a little bit. Nothing crazy. See how my toes are pointed and my legs are stretched? Yours should be too. Okay, and now let's sweep our arms around and angle the other direction. So if you have 2 sit bones on the ground, you should be feeling a stretch like in the hamstrings here. If you're not, you can reach a little bit more forward. So once you've done two like of these kinds of stretches evenly, both sides evenly, now we're gonna reach towards the center of the room. And I'm not even gonna like reach all the way forward. I'm just relaxing on my forearms here. I'm not even pointing my feet now, which is naughty. I'll keep pointing my feet because you should be too. Think about if you were doing like one of those really cool like jazz jumps. They're not really done in ballet. Sometimes men do them, but you know, where you do like, yeah, you're basically like this in the air. Imagine if you're doing that. You want pointed feet and stretched legs, so you have to do it while you're stretching on the floor. Like, why would you not? I just think that when you're stretching and when you're doing anything, like at the bar, it all translates into what you do in center and to what you do on stage. So you might as well do it to the best of your ability all the time. Just train your body, get in the habit, make it happen. It's just like, use your time wisely, right? So once I've sat up, now my hamstrings feel a little bit more stretched out, and I'm gonna scooch my hips forward even a tiny bit further. Feels nice. Okay. You can kind of do whatever you want if you want to like bend side a little bit more. But we're just waking up the body. So bring your knees in. Breathe for a second. Okay, I just want to do one more stretch. So let's go into like a mermaid pose here. And I'm gonna reach, like sweep my torso around along the floor until I have 2 shoulders on the floor. My hip is up and I'm kind of like rolling my hip towards like a diagonal direction. So I'm feeling a nice stretch in my hip flexor here. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring your torso onto your side and keep pressing, tuck your tailbone to press your hip forward and elongate this, this hip flexor. And stay here as long as you like. You can sweep back to being on your back if you like. Whatever feels good. If it hurts your knees, maybe don't do this one. We'll do another hip flexor stretch after this. So we're going into the mermaid. I'm starting on my side. I'm gonna sweep my arm up and around to feel 2 shoulders flat on the ground. My hip is, I don't know, a little bit off the ground. I don't really keep my hip on the ground here. Yeah, no, I don't. So I'm tucking my pelvis to push my hip flexor like up on this diagonal, trying to elongate the front of the hip here. This is actually really good for like posture and like alignment when you're standing, because we want to stand really nice and tall and long. We want to have like a long front of the body. And so we need to elongate this hip. And it'll help you like gain proper muscles like in your glutes as well. your body's, it's just all related, it really is. Okay, so once you've done that, we'll come back here. I'm just gonna go back into a butterfly and just breathe for a second. Come up. Let's just do like one more stretch. So we're gonna kneel. I'm like kind of out of the frame, but it's okay. Okay, so I'm in a kneeling position here. I'm gonna go directly side so you can see. And I wanna tuck my tailbone. And you'll probably feel a stretch even just here, but you can also like slightly lunge forward a little bit. And we're gonna stay here. If you wanna continue deepening the stretch, push, like bend forward even more. So it's important that when you're in this stretch, that your knee does not go beyond your heel. So you don't want your knee like pushing this way. It's improper alignment. It's not really great on your knees. It puts a lot of pressure on them. So we're always aiming to stretch with proper alignment, and the flexibility will come with time. So just don't be impatient. Do it properly. It's worth it. Better for your overall technique and well-being. Even if you don't care about like ballet technique, yeah, it's just good for your well-being. So I'm really like actively tucking my tailbone, elongating this hip. I have 2 shoulders and hips square. So I have 2 headlights on a car. If I was driving, I'm not gonna crash because my hips are not like, if my headlights are over here, then I'm gonna start swerving that way. I need to stay straight on the road. 2 headlights towards the front of the room. And now we're gonna go back into a little hammy stretch. So I am elongating this front leg, and then I'm gonna bend forward. You can flex this foot and put the leg into parallel if you want for a little extra stretch. And if this was a different day, this is a good time that you could start like inching into your splits, but I'm not gonna do that today. Okay, so now we're gonna do the other side. So we're kneeling here, tucking the tailbone, and you can either stay in this position, you can like elongate the arms up to really elongate this front of the hip, or you can just, you know, start to inch your body this way. So you might have to like inch your foot out as well so that your knee stays directly over the heel. So I have 2 shoulders and hips square. My car is not crashing. And you want to hold all these stretches for like at least 20 seconds, or else there's no point in stretching. Sometimes I see people stretching and they'll hold a stretch for like 5 seconds. That's not doing anything for your body. You're just causing yourself some discomfort. So yeah, now I've gone back and I'm in my hamstring stretch here. I'm still thinking about keeping 2 hips square. Sometimes I like to like inch them one way or another just to like feel what I'm feeling there, but I always go back to this square position. And I can drop the head. Flex the foot, bring the front leg into parallel. Back into a lunge. All right. I don't know. I feel pretty loosey-goosey. I think I'm gonna stop there. This is just like a nice body wake-up routine. We did back, hamstrings, hips, hip flexors. We did our feet, we did our calves, we did our neck with the neck rolls and stuff. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. Yeah, so this is like super simple, nothing crazy, but it'll have you feeling good. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.